All right, now as we move on in the installation and completion of the muzzle loader project, the next thing we're going to install is the butt plate and the toe plate. So the butt plate's already been fitted very well. So we've got it right there. We're going to install the 2 screws, starting top down first. So we're going to ensure we've got our appropriate fit screwdriver. We don't want to slip out. We've re-blued these screws to fix any marring or any scratches or anything, any damage done from the filing process. So we've really wanted like a very clean install on this gun. So we've got our second butt plate screw going in. And as you can see, I chose to, as I've previously mentioned, I chose to blacken all the brass components. You can still see the shine and the polish that I put on underneath, but I feel the blackened brass is really going to add to the look that I was going for, the individualness. And like I said, this gun was completed with the 100% intent to be a mantelpiece. We've got a good fit, nice and sturdy back in place. Our next step is going to be installation of the toe plate. And we need to mind the direction of the toe plate. So we've got that same burnt, darkened brass look to this, as we did to the butt plate. So we're gonna just put that in. In the same process, we've got 2 screws that's gonna hold this into place. These 2 screws, again, have been re-blued just to fix any marring or any damage from the filing process. And again, it's crucial to ensure that you have the right size screwdriver so you're not slipping out, scratching, or gumming up the head of the screw. Should be a nice snug fit, sit in there. And I want both these screws facing the same direction. So for nothing more than aesthetics, kind of like the electrician. So we've got the butt plate and the toe plate installed, reinstalled into the rifle. So the next thing that we're going to install is we're going to install our lock, our trigger, and our trigger guard. So a key component when installing the trigger is going to be, or I'm sorry, the lock is going to be making sure that we've got this little spring in place, and this little spring is what's going to push up against our barrel and lock in our push rod. So the direction of it should be sitting inside the gun. If the barrel's on top, this should be the barrel of the gun, and it should just lock into place. So, and just want to verify everything fits on our lock. We're gonna get my rawhide mallet and give it a good tap, making sure it's in there as snug as it can be. And we've still got that nice flush fit in the lock. Make sure it still functions. Good. So the first step, like I said, is going to be to install So these little brass washers, also blackened, are going to go onto the screw for the lock. And then we're going to make sure that we install in the correct orientation our retention spring. So, got that screw started. So, our next screw gonna go into place. And again, more screws that have been re-blued to match the finish and to also have a good clean look. All right, so we've got the lock pulled into place, set in. We've got no screw protrusion through the front, so we're good. So our next step is going to be to put in the trigger. So the trigger is going to fit in, and this is another area that we want to ensure has got a nice clean fit and finish. So we shouldn't have anything protruding up past. This should be nice and level with the wood, which it is. So we can go ahead and work on the installation of that. Again, another re-blued screw. So, and this screw isn't going to do much, just hold it in place. The barrel screw is going to be what fastens it and tightens it really into place. So the next step of the installation is going to be to install the trigger guard. So the trigger guard should just push right in there. And again, 2 more re-blued screws. And when I tell you these screws were re-blued, they weren't just hit with perma-blue. They were run through the bluing process with the barrel. So all of these brass components, this brass black, one of the requirements is like an annual waxing. So you can kind of see my gloves smearing up the finish. I did just put a wax coat on. I was letting it dry and harden. So we're going to buff it out after it's all reassembled. Again, got a good orientation, got the trigger guard installed. So we've got the lock and the trigger pulled, so we're gonna let that go. Again, just so the entire lock functions, so we know we're working. So lock and trigger are functioning. So we're going to get, the next thing we're gonna install is we're going to install the thimbles under the barrel. We're going to pull up my rifle mount up here just to put this in to make it easier to work on. So give me 1 second.